Welcome to the Murder Theater Podcast, where we talk all things professional wrestling. We hope you all are doing well. My beautiful wife, Tammy, how are you this week?
I am in the holiday spirit, jingle, jingle, jangle.
This already feels very much like our very first video. I don't know if you guys want to go back and watch the first podcast, but that is almost exactly how it started.
That's oh so no.
I love it.
Chris, how are you? There you go.
I'm doing great, man. I am doing fantastic. It's been a crazy week, and wrestling's been awesome. Yeah, and I'm just stoked to be here today.
So what's the news this week? What's happening?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, I've covered a lot of stuff on TikTok lately. If you guys aren't following us on TikTok already, please go do that. You will see it down here if you're watching it on the see it over there. If you're watching it on video, if you're not, it is at Murder Theater Pod on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube. But some of the stories that stuck out to me, Sasha Banks. Now Mercedes Varnado. She's no longer going by Sasha Banks, obviously, because that was WWE's trademark name. She has signed a non-exclusive deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is going to include a appearance at Stardom, at least one. But more importantly, she is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom 17, which is coming out of the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. I don't know how this is all going to tie into the AEW thing, but the fact that her contract just happens to allow her to wrestle wherever she wants after January 1st of 2023, I think it's sort of solidifying the fact that maybe that might be a certain someone's mystery partner, but we'll talk about that when we get into the rumors.
That's going to be huge, though. That's going to be huge for that.
It could be. It's all going to be money. Tammy, do you have anything to say about Miss Sasha Banks and some new adventures for her?
I have not kept up on a lot of this because I've been running around being in the holiday spirit. And so that one kind of, I haven't contemplated it deeply. The only thing that I know is that when name changes happen, it takes me a minute to readjust into a new personality and persona.
Well, the bright side is you haven't really ever had to deal with her as Sasha Banks. You really just get to deal with her now as Mercedes, or whichever name that she recently trademarked she's going to be going by. I'm not sure. But another story, speaking of female professional wrestlers, Mandy Rose was released from WWE this week. I've talked quite a bit about this one on our social media already. She dropped the title very unceremoniously at this week's NXT to Roxanne Perez, who I'm not a huge fan of. I liked her as Roxy in Ring of Honor. I don't know that she's ready to carry the strap. It all seemed a little weird. And then the next day, obviously, we found out that she was being released due to some quote unquote inappropriate conduct that she had been posting out on a fan subscription site. And then reports were saying, she was warned several times. She refused to back down, which, hell yeah, get your money, girl. And it turns out I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same thing. She's making upwards of $250,000 a month through that page, where she's probably only making somewhere between 50 to 75 a year working for WWE. So I think it was a bad business move on their behalf. I go deep into my thoughts on this on TikTok. Go check that out. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Well, go ahead, Tammy. Well, you go first. I've got some thoughts.
Well, my thoughts are a broader range of what it says about society and what we deem appropriate and inappropriate when what is really the difference and who's to say it is or isn't. So that's where I'm going. So I think talking about how she should personally handle it or how the company should personally handle it has already been covered. So my thoughts go more towards what exactly is the problem at all and who decides to label it that way? Like, who's saying it's inappropriate? What exactly is inappropriate? What are you all running around in your underwear, pretend fighting on TV every week? Exactly. And there isn't sexy costumes. What about Wardlow? I mean, he got whipped in a sexy way with a little onesie on, so what's the difference between that and whatever gets sold on a MyFans page? So why is one okay and what isn't?
Fair is fair. I'm not sure anybody would have compared those two things. That says where your mind's at, obviously.
Well, we all know this if you've been listening for any amount of time.
So, I mean, my whole issue with the whole thing was the hypocrisy of the deal. She just recently posed nude with the NXT straps. She had the women's championship, she had the tag team championship, and she was laid out nude by her pool. WWE supported that. They put it everywhere. But now that she's doing it and making her own money on it, they suddenly have a problem, and now she's gone. So
exactly.
That's where I stand. Rafe, what do you think, man?
Well, this is the same company that used to have lingerie matches with women. I mean, really? You're going to take this girl and say, oh, you can't do that? That makes zero sense to me whatsoever. You've got a person that comes there, they show up, they do their job well. They were a good champion at the time. People love her. You either suspend or you warn on that. You know what I mean? Because they certainly didn't have a problem with Riddle and his methamphetamine problem that he got tested for, but yet they have a problem with her. That doesn't
hold on. Is that what it was?
About that? It was like either meth or some other drug he was on.
Okay, we haven't even gotten to that yet, but I did not know that they had figured out what it was.
Right. Well, I read that, so could be right, could be wrong, but he's got a drug problem, man. And they put him in rehab, and they didn't say, oh, he's completely gone from the company, where they take a girl that, what's the extent, like Tammy said, what's the extent of this X-rated content? You know what I mean? That's the problem I have with.
So right? I have seen some of the stuff over the last few days. Things have been coming out. There was no sexual content. I will say that. A lot of nudity, stuff like that. And the stuff that seems to be the biggest issue is stuff that she was sending privately through messenger services and being paid for. It's not even stuff that's available to the public.
Okay.
So that makes it even weirder to me. And you mentioned, this is the company that did the lingerie matches and all those things. They've exploited women for years. Let's talk about what they're doing today. The reason that her gimmick is what it is, she literally was just too good at her job. They wanted her to do this. They wanted her to look this way. They've used her as the example for the rest of the women's roster. And now suddenly it's not okay because it's not going in their pockets.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be a money thing. That's the only thing I can think of too, because what are you talking about? The pop she would get when she would come out, the amount of attention that she got as a champion, why would you kill the golden goose? It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I'm so confused about this whole thing. I don't know. I disagree with it wholeheartedly, but hey, AEW wants to back up the Brinks truck and throw it at her. Great. Bring her in. She'll be great.
Impact is ready. Tommy Dreamer already said, come on over. We'll do everything. Let's make a deal.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, and AEW would be stupid if they didn't try to jump on this because she'll bring viewers. I mean,
she will. Especially after this. After this.
I mean, I think they shot themselves in the foot when they did this, but
big time. To think about how many people were tuning in every week to watch her because of her gimmick, because she is a very attractive woman, because of Toxic Attraction. They laid this out as a sexy gimmick, as something. It was all about body and sexiness and being pretty and attractive. Toxic Attraction. Gigi and JC are both still in the same boat, still there. And I don't know if you guys know this, Gigi posts a lot of stuff on her IG too. They don't seem to have any issues with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But she's not getting paid for Instagram. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of lame, and especially since you mentioned that was kind of Vince McMahon's project. Like he did everything he could to get her.
I have mentioned that quite a few times, haven't I?
Yeah, you have mentioned that. So it's kind of lame. I mean, hey, but it could be good for another promotion. So let's see where it goes. It's certainly not going to hurt her financially. You know what I mean? If anything, she probably just doubled her money,
with less work.
With less work. And she doesn't have to wake up when she's 40 years old and can't even move her legs. So, okay, good for her. So, I mean, lame, but lame.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's move on from that. If you guys want to hear more in-depth thoughts about what I have to say, man, about Mandy Rose, I've posted like 7 videos this week on our TikTok. Go check it out. But moving on from that, something a little bit more positive, something kind of interesting, and maybe a little bit unexpected. Tony Khan has announced that Ring of Honor will not be getting a TV deal, and they are moving to a streaming platform only. It's Honor Club. It's been a pre-existing service that Ring of Honor's had for a while. You can actually access it through rohwrestling.com. It's available for digital download for different platforms, Androids, Apple, TVs, Roku, all that stuff. $9.99 a month. It has the entire Ring of Honor back catalog. New pay-per-views will still be airing on Fight TV and Bleacher Report, I believe. You will still have to pay full price for those. They will not be included, which I think is a slight misstep. The $9.99 a month seems like a fantastic deal when it's including pay-per-views. When it's not, it's almost like, okay, so I get the back catalog and then I get stuff. What else do I get? A weekly show that nobody's seen yet. So we'll see how their subscriber count goes and what's going to happen with that. The newer pay-per-views moving forward from now until then, they won't even be released on that network until 90 days after they've aired, which again seems like a huge mistake to me. I don't know. I'm excited that we're finally getting Ring of Honor news. And I think we're seeing that on AEW TV now. Maybe it'll be a little less crowded. We don't have to worry about showcasing all that Ring of Honor stuff. But it feels like a way to kill the brand if they're not careful. What do you guys think?
I think it very well could kill the brand, especially with as many promotions that are going nowadays. It's like, where's that fit in? And what kind of content are you going to put in that? And then who are you going to relegate from AEW that stays in that realm of Ring of Honor? So, I mean, before we had this massive amount of crossover between AEW and Ring of Honor. I mean, for the love of God, Jericho was Ocho. You know what I mean? He won the Ring of Honor title. Then we had Blackpool Combat Club winning the Ring of Honor titles. Now we've got the Jericho Appreciation Society that has the Ring of Honor titles. I don't even know who has them anymore. You know what I mean? You got Samoa Joe, that's a regular on AEW, has the Ring of Honor title. You know what I mean? So, you know, the only people that aren't on AEW are the Briscoes that have the tag titles at this point. So
and they're not allowed on AEW.
And they're not allowed on AEW according to Warner Brothers because, you know, they're too controversial, right?
Well, Warner Discovery now? Yeah.
Man, Warner Discovery. So this is going to be a very fine line of how they do it. And the fact that they don't offer the pay-per-views with the monthly subscription is pretty lame because I can tell you this, I can watch every WWE pay-per-view on Peacock for barely any money.
Plus all of the you get all the Peacock content.
Yeah. And you get all the Peacock content.
It's like $7 or $8 a month.
And it's less than that $9.99 for the Ring of Honor. So I see this change in its format in about 8 months. I think you're going to see some big changes coming around in 8 months. I think that this is going to start one way and it's going to end a different way. And then, but I do hope the thing that I do hope is that we pull that AEW roster that's been sitting dormant for a very long time back into AEW primetime television and not just on dark. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's the way I feel about that. Tammy.
3 words and I'm done. Too much money.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's fair.
That's fair enough. Because you're right. Because if you're getting a weekly show and that's all you're getting, and then not a lot of people sit there. I mean, truly, how many people will sit there and watch back catalog stuff? I mean, when you can get a lot of it on YouTube, I know, but I'm just saying, like, there's
I totally will.
But it's a small percentage, though, Chris. That's what I'm saying. It's a very small percentage of people that are true wrestling fans.
It's us marks.
Well, you know what I mean? We'll deep dive into that. There's not a whole lot that will. I mean, I certainly won't watch a ton of those matches.
It's going to be the hardcore Ring of Honor fan base that existed before. It's not going to be new fans.
Yeah. So, I'm curious to see how it shakes out. I'm curious to see who he pulls off that AEW roster and puts in the ROH roster. I'm curious to see if he even has a decent women's division in that. Is he going to have, is Athena going to be the leader of that and pulling that all together? Is, you know what I mean? I could see them anchoring Ring of Honor with the Briscoes because those dudes they're super entertaining. And it's lame
that dog collar match with FTR was incredible.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see it, but yeah, I heard it was pretty massive. And they just got canceled so many years ago that, that's what happened to them. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that format goes. And I hope they don't pull too much away from AEW. That's all.
All right. My last piece of news for this week. Speaking of Ring of Honor, we got to talk about Jonathan Gresham. There was, when he came over, he was doing some AEW stuff. He was doing some Ring of Honor stuff. There was a lot of controversy. He was not happy with his booking, and he was out the door pretty quickly. He is now signed with Impact Wrestling, which I think is a good get for them with their ever-changing roster. I really like Jonathan Gresham. I think he's great. I don't think he fit the AEW product, which I understood that, but he could have fit Ring of Honor. He could have stayed there, but there was no news yet as to what was going to happen. So I understand his move. I think he'll do Impact a lot of good. I think it's all going to be good for Impact. I don't know if it's going to be great for Jonathan Gresham, but he's a busy guy anyway. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a good fit. His wife's there, so I mean that makes sense. Jordan Grace wrestles there. She's the champ, so him being there seems like a natural progression for them. So, and I think he'll elevate the game of Ring of Honor. I mean, of Impact, and probably pull some more viewers in on Impact. So, I think it'll be helpful, and I think he'll be a good fit. So. What's the rumor roundup? I love rumors. That's all wrestling talks about is rumors.
Well,
I think of the Umbrella Academy when I hear rumors. I'm going to rumor somebody.
Fair enough.
I heard a rumor.
Interesting show. So we already talked a little bit about Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Renato, aka Banks Monet, aka the other 15 names she trademarked. Free to work as of January 1st. Saraya just happens to be needing a mystery partner after that time. That match isn't scheduled until Wednesday, January 11th for Dynamite against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. I think it just kind of solidifies that she's got to be the partner. And if it's not, a lot of people are going to be disappointed because I can't think of anybody else that would be as interesting as the person that put Saraya out of business to begin with. And it also gives them a chance to ignite a feud with them that they never got to have because of Saraya's injury and how it ended her career. So what do you guys think? Is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be someone else?
Well, who else would it be?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to look at it. And it's, and again, this is another thing that kind of upsets me about AEW. It's the fact that we have a deep women's roster and now we're just doing this. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I think that it'll elevate the women's division if she comes in and wrestles, but then also there's another fact that I think it squashes some opportunities for someone that she could put over the edge. Like Jericho puts people over. You know what I mean? He'll sacrifice himself to put people over, as we saw with Action Andretti, right?
Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
But there's no, and so I think that that's what AEW needs. They need that person in the women's division to do that too, to put some of these women's wrestlers over. And that I think would make the division better than just signing the fallen. Well, the former WWE people. I have mixed feelings because in one sense I'm going to be excited about it. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. But then in the other sense, I'm going to be like, oh, well, this could possibly hurt the women's division in AEW.
Yeah, it's like I'm super excited, but also they could really mess this up. So
they could. Tammy.
I don't have any emotional attachments about it one way or the other. I think it'll be fun if it happens. I mean, you all are thinking long-term consequences. You put more thought into it than I did. So you definitely make good points. I mean, but I'm not going to worry about it because you know what? The women's division isn't doing well no matter what right now over there. and feels like a broken freaking record because it's going to come up later in my notes again. I don't even want to say it again because it's making me bored.
It does.
You know, it's just that's why I don't care, because it's like, okay, it could get messed up, but it's not great now. So that's where I rest my case.
Well, Tammy, let me ask you one question then before we move on to the next thing. If it's not Sasha Banks, who would you like to see be Saraya's partner?
Nothing that would make any logical sense to anybody else. So
fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of people that can be capable, but they won't be the big story that Sasha Banks would be.
Like, hey, how about Sunny Kiss?
Well, they're not going to put that on network television.
But wouldn't that be an interesting choice?
It would be a great choice.
That's why I'm saying nothing that would make sense to anybody else. So, I mean, who you know, I don't know a lot who's floating out there. What about what's her name? Allie Katch? Didn't she work there or no?
Man, that'd be fucking awesome.
I know who I'd like to see with Saraya, and it's a kind of a wild card. I'd like to see Serena Deeb wrestle with her, be the tag team.
Ooh, that would be good. They do have a previous relationship. That would be badass.
And then if
I hadn't even thought about that, man.
Yeah,
that's a great fucking theory. Ooh,
because if you
sign me up, bro.
Well, think about the match. Okay, you got Britt Baker and Saraya, who are pretty kind of got close in their styles, and then you put Hayter versus Deeb, who could beat the living shit out of each other, which would be an incredible match. Period.
Take my money.
Why wouldn't I mean, seriously, it would be perfect because you've got everybody in that ring would be super skilled. Everybody would be over the top. It would be great. It would be a great match, man.
Yeah.
So, but
I love that idea. I think it's too far. It's like way too far fetched, but that is a killer idea. And if that was what happened, that might be one of the few things that I wouldn't be disappointed in if it wasn't Mercedes.
Exactly.
All right. Next rumor. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Vince McMahon has some new potential lawsuits being filed against him. And in the midst of that, there's news that he's saying he wants to make a WWE comeback. He wants to do a return to the company because he got some bad advice. And he thinks maybe he shouldn't have retired because it could have blown over. You guys know I hate Vince. So go ahead. Feel free.
No take backsies.
No take backsies. Yeah, I wouldn't want it. I mean, if it happens, I mean, that's it's going to happen, but I wouldn't want him back just because, he's just going to start hacking things up. And I think Triple H has been kind of making some headroom on making some things better there.
He tried so hard and got so far.
Yeah.
But in the end, does it even matter?
I don't know, man. Exactly. So it's like it negates everything that Triple H did because what's going to happen. He's going to come in there and clean house and just do whatever he wants to do.
He's not coming back, man. Nobody wants him there. Let's be real.
What does that say? What would that say about a company with all of it being so public and not yet resolved, letting him leave and come back? What does that say? What tone does that set for everyone else? You can't get mad at nobody else, and you certainly can't be hiring that one. I mean, firing than that one lady for her sexy pictures after
exactly. What she's doing. That's what I was going to add in. I'm like, are you fire Mandy Rose, but yet Vince McMahon, he's cool with that, cornering chicks in his office or whatever he was doing, right? Cool. Yeah, we'll just let you back in. But yeah, sorry, Mandy, you're done. Even though people come to see you, they're not going to come to see Vince.
Right? Exactly.
I think the public will rebel.
They will.
Yeah. I'm going to say a little bit more about Vince later on when we talk about this past year. But if you guys are good, we can move on from that.
Oh, yeah.
So here's a little piece of information that I've been seeing pop up lately. Triple H may be regretting bringing back some of his rehires. There hasn't been any specific names mentioned, but a lot of speculation is pointing at names like Hit Row, potentially Karrion Kross, that maybe he jumped the gun a little bit. What do you guys think?
Well, I've seen Karrion Kross wrestle a couple times. I think he's good. I mean, I do think he's good, but did he make an impact on me like Some of the other people that I've watched on WWE, no, not really. No. So maybe he's right on some of that. And maybe Vince was right on some of that too. I mean, sometimes, Vince has been in this business for day one, right? I mean, a long time. I mean, so
he was the business for the last 20 years. So.
Right. So some of those decisions, I would say probably 90% of the decisions he made for talent were probably correct and spot on for it because he's a professional at his job at that time, right?
I don't know about 90%. I'd say maybe like 60, like a 60-40 split. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll split the difference on that. That's fine.
I think a lot of the talent that did get released that they should have brought back was already elsewhere. So they brought back the guys that Triple H did like that were not already contracted. And we know that there's been speculation that they've been reaching out to the other companies trying to get their talent back and tampering and all that stuff. Jericho himself said that they reached out and were like, hey, come back. So I don't know. All right. I got one more rumor. So it relates to SmackDown. We had a segment with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Uncle Howdy showed up in the same room at the same time as Bray Wyatt, which is the first time we've seen that happen. Clearly, it's his voice on the Uncle Howdy videos. Clearly. However, there is a physical person now being Uncle Howdy. Who is it? Who is it? Some people are saying Bo Dallas, which is his brother. Some people are speculating that it could be Dutch. You guys know Dutch and Vincent from The Righteous. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah.
And they've been in a lot of WWE stuff lately. And there's rumors they've been signed already. Another name I've heard is Joe Gacy. It could be him. I have my own theory that's a little bit weird and kind of sideways. I think maybe it was originally supposed to be Barry Windham. And when Barry Windham had his health issues, maybe they gave old IRS a call. And it could be Mike Rotunda. The body shape fits. He's Bray's father, the Wyatt family, the new Wyatt Six. I don't think it's that far-fetched. I know it seems like a long shot, but it's not impossible. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool if it ended up being him, but maybe that's just me. I don't know what the rest of the world thinks about that. I personally loved IRS, and honestly, there is nothing scarier than the tax man. Let's be real. So if you're looking for a scary character, he doesn't have to talk. He doesn't have to get in the ring. He just needs to wear the gimmick, Yeah. Bray does the talking. He just has to stand in the shadows and be badass.
That's it.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't dove too deep into this yet, so I'm gonna have to go with what you think it probably is. It would be cool, so hopefully it is. So, but yeah, I don't have too much to say.
I have to say, I fully think that the other speculations are probably more accurate, but I love my idea just because it makes no sense and it'd be super rad.
Hey, sometimes you never know, man. You just never
know.
Yeah,
you never know. And I like to expect the unexpected because WWE is great with swerves. Tammy, did you happen to catch that SmackDown segment?
I don't think I did. No.
Well, I highly recommend you go and check that out. It's all over YouTube. It's all over the internet right now. The White Rabbit stuff, we've been building this thing. We're going to talk about.
I've been loosely following the White Rabbit thing, so I'm not completely unfamiliar, but I don't know about the segment you just mentioned. But it sounds like a fun bit.
I think the whole story's been a blast. That's all I got for rumors this week, guys. Do you have anything else that you've heard through the grapevine that maybe I missed?
No, you've covered everything that I was going to talk about. So yeah, man, you got it right.
I certainly haven't. I don't have time to watch all the wrestling on the earth. I can't keep up with all the news, but these were the things that stuck out to me that I found interesting. So I wanted to talk about this stuff. Right. It's been a crazy week just in the business, right?
Oh, it is. I mean, just there's been a lot of movement, and I mean, I don't know if they're just kind of setting it up for next year and to see what we're going to do, but hey, it's going to be fun.
Well, I mean, if you guys are ready, I can do a quick recap of what's happened on every show that I saw this week and what I thought was interesting. And I would love to hear some of your thoughts and opinions on some of this stuff. All right, so the first thing on Raw that I thought was cool was Alexa Bliss. This young woman right here, Alexa Bliss. She defeated Bayley to become the number 1 contender to be Bianca Belair. Also right here.
Which I did not agree with that win. But
it was a kind of a rough match. But I think it's all setting up towards something grander.
Okay.
So she beat Bayley. I love Bayley to death. Alexa Bliss is not really a believable opponent against Bayley, especially the way this match went. But the more important thing about this match was towards the end of this thing, after the win, Bianca got in the ring. She was going to congratulate Bliss because they were just on a team together at Survivor Series.
They were.
Bianca went for the handshake. Alexa said, "Give me a hug." The Wyatt logo flashed on the screen. Alexa Bliss grabbed Bianca, put her in the Sister Abigail. We were about to hit the move. She snapped out of it. What happened? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And left.
That's a cool
I
plot
loved
line.
this, you guys. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
So
think
you
it's
think
going to be super cool. I think the turn is happening where the
That's
wheels
good.
are turning. This whole Bray Wyatt faction build has all been so slow. It's a good slow burn. It's my favorite. It's long-term storytelling. I can't get enough of it.
So then are they going to kill the Bianca Bayley thing that's been going on forever in the ladder match and her pushing towards getting the belt? I mean,
I don't think we're done there.
Dude, I thought for sure like 3 months ago Bayley was going to have this belt by now. I really did. I mean, truly. I was like, no, man, she's going to get it at some point. They had that sick ass ladder match. They had all kinds of shit going on. And then all of a sudden, now this, I was like baffled by it. That's why I was like, why did Alexa Bliss win that? I figured Bayley, this would be the time that Bayley comes in and wins the belt, and, and carries it and has damage control, like running the fucking Raw. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think that it's necessarily over. I think we're just going a slightly different direction with it so that we can start to speed up this Bray Wyatt faction process, which, we did more on SmackDown. So,
okay. I mean, I'll take it, but yeah. I'm a little disappointed because I think she's pretty awesome wrestler. So
she's one of my favorites. I love Bayley to death.
Yeah. She's tough, man. She kicks ass, and she does good matches, man. She did those good matches with Bianca, man. They were good.
And I love this version of Bayley. I was a fan of her back when she was doing the inflatable arm flailing tube men as her thing. And she was the side pony, happy, super bubbly gimmick, which Kylie Ray kind of ripped off, but we don't need to talk about that. I agree with you about Bayley shouldn't have lost to Bliss, but I do like where it's going. Tammy, any thoughts?
No.
Okay.
I got to get her up to date on some of that stuff. So.
Well, the next thing we have, so we had some small developments in the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn bloodline feud. Solo had a match with Elias, and it sort of just set up the SmackDown angle later.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great. I didn't really know where it was going to go though until we got to SmackDown. Any thoughts?
But the best part of that whole thing was when he pulled out what's his name's lyrics. And sang them. He had him on the written piece of paper. Elias and he's the rock star singing it. I was crying, man.
I love that Elias is back with the standard Elias gimmick. WWE stands for Walk with Elias. I'm here for it, brother. I'm here for it.
And he was like, I'm gonna miss that guy playing bongos over there. That was great. So, but I could see this, I could see everything kind of bubbling up with Zayn and KO, and that's they're definitely working that angle, so that's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that again in a little bit. The next thing up was Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Fantastic match. I love Asuka. I've been a huge fan of Asuka for a long time. Rhea Ripley has become, maybe, in my opinion, one of the most impressive female talents in the professional wrestling the televised professional wrestling business right now. I have to be clear about that because I'm a big fan of a lot of talent that's not on TV. But I love Rhea Ripley so much.
She kills it.
She can walk me like a dog, man. Put a leash on me.
That's funny.
That whole mommy poppy gimmick with Dom is just one of the best things going.
Dude, if you really want to laugh, go on the WWE TikTok when she talks shit to the fans. It's fucking hilarious, man.
I saw a video where she was reading thirst tweets about her.
Yeah.
She loves it. It's fantastic.
She's a great heel. She's a great heel.
She's really is.
Really great heel.
And she's also just really good at understanding her role. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But the cooler thing here was that Asuka is no longer rocking the green bleeding face paint, which she has been doing since she started doing the mist. You know, you guys are more familiar with that with the House of Black. That shit goes back to the 80s with the Great Muta and all that stuff. It's a very Japanese thing. So she's not wearing the makeup anymore. She's been tweeting and on social media a lot, referring to her old gimmicks, Kana in the Japanese promotions. She's kind of turned into this sort of dark side. And you know, Dom caught the miss this time, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But the look of defeat on Asuka's face after this match, they are definitely prepping her for a character change. And I even heard somebody say, well, maybe that's going to be one of the Wyatt Six characters. I don't know, but whatever it is, I want the world for her. She deserves the moon. I said it last week or whenever we did this last time. She never got the push she deserved on the main roster. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, she's good. She kills it.
So after that, we went into Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins.
This was weird to me.
But they beat the living tar out of each other, man.
They did. They beat the shit out. I like Seth freaking Rollins. He cracks me up, dude.
It almost felt like a shoot fight with these two. I can't tell if Seth Rollins is a heel or if he's a baby face. I don't know what Bobby Lashley's doing, but they just went to freaking war, man.
And then he got
Seth
fired.
won the match. And then Bobby got kayfabe fired, which I feel right now in the spectrum of what's going on in the professional wrestling world and with all the Mandy Rose stuff specifically in their company, I feel like kayfabe firing, it's just bad taste to me.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't know that though at the time. I mean, because
NXT knew. What they didn't know was that people were going to pay attention.
They got to know that by now.
They didn't know that people like me were going to have a problem with that. But yeah, Bobby Lashley's a machine.
Dude,
I don't know where they're going with the firing gimmick. Hopefully it'll turn into something cool.
That guy's chiseled out of stone.
Seth Rollins is next in line for the U.S. title.
Yeah, and he's entertaining. He's entertaining as shit. He'll do a good job on that, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Tammy, any thoughts?
I did see some of that this week. I don't know how, because I don't remember sitting down and intentionally watching it, but a lot of it was actually when you were talking about it, I recognized it. Maybe I was looking over Rafe's shoulder. I don't know. But I know that
you were watching
it with you
when I was watching the recap.
And I find all of it incredibly enjoyable, and I've been liking it all. And other than that, you all covered the details.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Well, the next show obviously was Tuesday, NXT.
Yeah. And that's the big one. That was when we had all the controversy.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a big one. It was certainly an interesting one. Some positive notes from NXT this week. Dijak has returned. Formerly, I guess he was, what was he? Was he T-Bar? Yeah, he was T-Bar in Revolution. God, whatever the name of that stupid faction was. Before that, he had a glorious run in NXT as Dominik Dijakovic. And the whole world was behind him. They moved into the main roster, fucked everything up. I think this Dijak character is awesome. I think that if he can start a feud with Tony D'Angelo and the boys, I think it's going to be great. Were you guys watching NXT? What do you think?
I caught a little bit of that plot line. I can't get my head around Tony D'Angelo.
Love it.
Coming from an Italian background, I think the whole mafia thing is fucking played out.
That's fair. That's
so
fair.
I have a tendency not to pay that much attention to it. I think he's a character. I think he's funny. I think he's definitely entertaining. But there's other parts of NXT for me I'd rather focus my energy on.
Fair enough. That's fair. Tammy, anything?
I watched 0 of it this week.
All right, well,
I'm not going to win.
We'll just speed right along then. Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley had a match with Toxic Attraction. And in hindsight, it's so weird and cringy that they were on this show in all of this Mandy Rose stuff. But
yeah, they're going to get caught in this riptide, this undercurrent of bullshit. And it's a shame because both of those wrestlers are really good in Toxic Attraction.
Well, I mean, this match was kind of a throwaway anyway. It was really just setting up the 6-woman triple threat for next week with Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, the current NXT tag champs. I really think
those girls are good, man.
They are. I feel like maybe the original direction was probably to give Toxic Attraction the belts back, but I don't know if they're going to go that route now.
Probably not.
They no longer have a leader. So we'll see what happens. I'd love to see them go to the main roster and do something else. I'd like to see Kaden and Katana kick ass for a little while. They've been putting in work for years. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think with this whole NXT, I think we're going to have to see what happens. I think there's going to be a lot of shit that changes within NXT that they've got to try to iron out some wrinkles on this one at this point.
There's a lot of moving parts and gears spinning right now with NXT.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, next up, the New Day. It's a new day. Yes, it is. I cannot tell you guys how much I love the New Day and the power of positivity. They've been one of my favorite factions for a very long time running. I love that they're in NXT now. I think their gimmick just fits the branding so well. And then really, there's not much left for them on the main roster. They've done everything. Kofi, I think, I think he has the record now for the most tag team wins between what he's done with New Day and various other tag partners, including CM Punk over the years. This is a great way to get them down there. And they're still young enough and still great enough to elevate so many other teams. But they had this segment with Pretty Deadly, who I actually really dig. I think Pretty Deadly's kind of a great thing.
Pretty Deadly, Tammy, are the guys that have the long hair. They look like they're like rockers from Finland or something like that.
They're entertaining. Yeah,
they wear like fishnet tops
competing in their Eurovision contest.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah, they're great, and I like the idea that they're going to continue that, but also through that they're going to bring Briggs and Jensen in, who I'm not a huge fan of. Something about their gimmick is a little cringy to me. I won't get into that too in depth. I also didn't like that it was do the Pledge of Allegiance. That whole thing seemed a little bit ridiculous to me, but it gives a little piece and it stretches out the feud with Pretty Deadly. I have a feeling New Day is going to retain. What do you guys think?
Well, wasn't Big E in the New Day? Now he's not wrestling, right?
No, he's still out of commission.
He broke his neck.
Yeah, big time. What's his name? Dropped him on his freaking head. I don't remember his name now. Jesus. It's not on my paper, so I can't say it out loud.
That's all good.
But yeah, a younger, not very experienced wrestler. He had a very unfortunate injury. Big E did. So he's a part of the New Day, but he's not around right now. So Xavier and Kofi are kicking ass left and right. I'm excited to see this match with Briggs and Jensen. They're good wrestlers. I'm not a fan of their gimmick. But I think it's all going to lead back to this Pretty Deadly thing.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fun one because those guys they're super. They're kind of like a very dynamic tag team that's going to be fun to watch. And those guys, they're all super strong and they've got moves, so it's going to be cool.
Yeah. Tammy, any thoughts?
I think New Day's gonna win or retain.
Fair enough.
That's my vote. Put my vote there.
Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the women's division seems like it's falling into chaos right now in NXT.
It is, and They've got
We
some
had this-
good wrestlers too.
Yeah, well, they're all being thrown into like segments together and stuff now. I don't know what's happening, but we had like this whole chaotic thing. It was Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark continuing their thing. Indy Hartwell, Elektra Lopez, Lash Legends, Sol Ruka. There was all this stuff. There was like this huge fight backstage. I didn't understand any
I
of it.
remember that.
Yeah.
But it was almost like too much happening. I don't know what it was. I like it though. I like it. It's
too.
fresh. I like
gonna
having
tell
this
you.
many people involved and not understanding it.
Sol Ruka, underrated.
Very true.
Underrated. She is underrated. Keep your eye on that girl. She's something else. And I've always liked Zoe Stark. Man, that girl's tough. I like her too.
Yeah, I do want to say though, Nikita Lyons, we've talked about her a little bit. I wonder if WWE was a little more comfortable letting Mandy go, knowing that they had the next one ready, locked and loaded. Nikita Lyons is the next Mandy Rose.
Yeah, it seems like it is. It seems like they've.
I mean,
they've
it is
been
what it is.
gearing
I
her
wouldn't
up
be
for that.
surprised if in a couple of weeks or a couple of months down the road, she's the new leader of Toxic Attraction.
She might be. She might be. That's maybe why they're creating all this chaos so that when it shakes out that way.
Yep.
That's a good deflection for it for sure.
Yep. And speaking of the women's division, we had Ela Dawn set up another match with Alba Fire, which I'm looking forward to.
Alba Fire's a badass.
Alba Fire's crazy. And then also Lyra Valkyria. I don't know how you say it. She made her debut this week in a match against Amari Miller.
Yeah, I got to go check that out. I didn't get a chance to see that. So,
and then that brings us to the Mandy Rose Roxanne Perez match, which I got to be honest, Mandy carried it. She was super professional through the entire thing. She dropped the title, like I said previously, in a very unceremonious way and did it like a fucking pro. And regardless of what anybody's stance is on Mandy Rose being released, you cannot deny the amount of commitment, the amount of work she's put in, and just overall the amount of improvement and development over the years from when she started with the company to now. She went from being basically just another woman on the roster to being the face of a brand for the last year and change.
yeah.
And like I said, I like Roxanne Perez. I don't know that she's ready to be in that position, but hopefully it works out. I feel like it was a panic move, and it was just, let's get the title off Mandy and put it on someone, and they went with a young up-and-comer.
Yeah, they'll pull that off for in a couple of months. Watch. You'll see.
Yeah, I don't even think the run could last that long with all this other talent.
Nope, not gonna happen. I mean, she's good. I saw her. She didn't get a huge pop when she came out. You know, I mean, she's like a mid-level. She's a mid-level women's wrestler on NXT. I mean, there's so many more ahead of her that I was very surprised that she got it.
Small fish in a big pond right now.
Shit,
as Roxy, as that gimmick in the other company, she was a big fish, and now she's being thrown in the mix with a lot of people. I mean, Mandy retained that title against so many worthy challengers.
Oh yeah.
And the way they did this, it just feels so rushed and like it wasn't thought through. I don't know. I don't agree with anything that happened, so I don't really know how to say anything positive about it. It's not Roxanne Perez's fault, though. I know that.
No, not at all. It's not her fault at all. I mean, they probably had to put her into that situation. I'm hoping that this sets her up for the future. I mean, she's obviously pretty young, so hopefully this pushes her over the edge in some way where she keeps it for a bit, loses it, and then comes back even stronger and gets more crowd pop. That's ultimately like what I'd like to see for her. But she doesn't have a dynamic personality like the rest of them. Like those other
promos are going to need work.
The promos are going to need work. Those other girls come out, man, and they just have something. And she just comes out, and I almost mixed her up with Cora Jade when I saw her. I was like, I mean, like from a distance, I'm like, oh, who's that? Okay, all right, that's not her. You know what I mean? Because it's like they blended together. You know what I mean? And
it's like Roxanne Perez or Cora Jade or Sky Blue. What are you doing here?
Right.
What's going on?
I felt that way because it was like there's no personality. I mean, like Zoe Stark.
They're very similar.
Yeah, she's got a personality, right? She's got a personality just coming out to the ring. You know what I mean? Nikita Lyons has got a personality just coming out to the ring. Indy Hartwell has a personality just coming out to the ring. You know what I mean? She's got this pop to her. So I don't know. Hopefully they do it right. And she's got a long way to go in this business. So hopefully we'll see it come through and she really finds her footing in it. So just like I'm hoping Sky Blue finds her footing in it, because I think she's a technically good wrestler. She just doesn't have the gimmick yet.
Yeah, she's got to work on the non in-ring parts.
Right. And and that's just going to take time, man. That girl's like 23 years old or something like that.
We are talking about a lot of young women in these scenarios. Right. A lot of people who have very little life experience behind them.
Right. Not everybody could be 26 years old in MJF. They just can't be. He's seriously. Honestly, he's 1 in a million. He really is 1 in a million. Oh, God. Right? He's 1 in a million.
I believe it's once in a generation is the tagline.
Well, then there you go. Because no one could talk shit like him, and he's 26 years old. Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
Fair enough.
He's a generational talent.
He is.
That's it. Generational talent. You got it. I fucked it up. Thank you. Well, that was it for NXT, man. We've got to move on to AEW Dynamite. And Tammy, Rafe, I know you guys watched Dynamite this week, so maybe you don't have to listen to me rant and rave and only share what I know, What'd you guys think of Dynamite this week, by the way? It's a good show, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked that show. I thought it was fun. I thought even Rampage was fun, but we'll get back into that at some point.
I don't know about that, but we'll get there in a minute. Yeah, we'll get there. First thing we started Dynamite with, the next installment in the Best of 7. Another fantastic, creative, how have we not seen this stuff already with these guys match? Every time they're doing a match, it's new stuff, and my mind explodes every time. Like,
I love it.
Where are they coming up with all these ideas and shit? It's this thing with the hammer is great. Now all 3 members of Death Triangle have used that hammer. We're setting them up as heels, clearly, despite the fact that we love Ray. We love Penta, even though he's certainly more on the heel side to begin with.
He is.
No.
Pac is nowhere close.
Hero.
There's no one better than the bastard.
Pac is nowhere close to being a babyface. He's definitely the bad influence of the crew, I would say. But this match was fantastic. Nick Jackson deserves an Oscar.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I legitimately did not know, is he really hurt, until he came back out and they had to hit the leg with the hammer. Then I was like, okay, it's all bullshit. I loved it. I loved it 8,000%. I'm super excited because after the match, we got the promo from Kenny, which was supposedly an unapproved promo that he cut with no permission, announcing the fact that they're going to be doing a legal weapons match next, a Falls Count Anywhere match after that, and the final in this thing, which is going to be the final, is going to be a ladder match with these 6 crazy sons of bitches.
So cool.
I love all of this. Any thoughts?
Go ahead, Tammy. I took up a lot of space on this.
I freaking love it. I love all of them. We all know how I feel about Ray and Death Triangle, and I agree. It is normally this would be like, oh, it's so redundant, because it's 7 of them, but nope. Like you said, they are such professionals that they can keep upping it every single week. And what a way to start out. Like, that sets a tone. So I love it. And I'm with you. I was worried about Nick too. I was so worried. It had me going, and I love it. It's hard to get one over on me, and I love that they were able to. So that's all I have to say about that. Yes.
First of all,
I want to add real quick, Rafe, before you start going. This was the first time I saw a kayfabe injury in AEW that felt legit.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know. I could not tell it was bullshit until the very end.
Yeah, I was truly concerned too. I was like, oh no, dude, not Nick. I mean, that's going to be lame because I'm like, and then I start thinking all this crazy shit like, oh, they're not going to make it to the best of seven. I mean, the game seven. Okay, so for anybody that doesn't follow like 7 game series, okay, in the
Oh
NHL,
boy, here we go.
we got the 7 game
It's a wrestling
series, right?
podcast, Ray.
Listen, just escucha.
I know,
Listen,
man. I know. Go ahead.
you got the 7 game series, and when it comes down to the 7th game, it's do or die, and it makes it fucking awesome. If a team gets swept in 4, it's lame. If they go to 7, that means it's sudden death. Everything matters. It's so important. Everything's on the line. You give it all you got. And the minute he got hurt, I'm like, oh no, I hope this isn't real. I hope this isn't real. Because if I don't have a game 7 on this or a match 7 on this, I'm going to be so disappointed. And I think I might even shed a couple tears. I was like, dude, it's the best. I love the 7th game right down to the end to it, man. It's fucking awesome. I mean, what a great way to do this with the belts. I think they did a really good job with these belts, Matt. So I'm pumped.
It is very cool, and it gets better every week.
It does, man. It
really does get better every week.
Has to be some of the best shit AEW's done this year.
And that Northern Lights thing was wild. Move.
Yeah. And Rafe, I definitely agree with what you're saying about the best of 7 and all that stuff and how it relates to other sports and everything. You know me, I'm a big sports guy, go sports. But in this context, it was beautiful. I didn't know how to feel about this when they first announced they were doing a best of 7. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But it's been great every week, and I have a feeling it's just going to get better and better until the end. I don't know. Who do you guys think is going to come out on top at the end of this thing?
Oh, the Elite's going to win. I think so.
Tammy?
I think, unfortunately, that's what people are going to freaking do. And I don't agree with that, but I think that's how it's going to go.
Hey, if the Death Triangle goes down after 7 killer matches, that doesn't hurt them in the slightest.
Not at all. It makes them
everyone
legit.
Is going to remember this. Everyone's going to remember this series. This is going to go down as one of the greatest feuds in AEW history.
Absolutely. They set it up perfect. They set up the best way for the Death Triangle to lose the belts if they have to lose the belts. They really did.
Yep.
You know, they made them legit. They made them, hard asses. They made them, everything possibly that they could be. So I got no problem with it. It kind of sucks, but hey, I got no problem with it.
Well, let's move on from that. The next thing we had was the Acclaim. The Acclaim. Yo, listen. Caster was cutting a fresh rhyme only to be interrupted.
Slap nuts.
I mean, I think I heard an Elon Musk reference. There was something else in there too that was really good. This is one of the ones where I was like, damn, I wish he could have finished it because I feel like it was a good one. But I also know that he probably only wrote just enough to plan that attack. The attack I'm talking about, of course, is Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt. Out of nowhere, they're going to feud with the Acclaim now, I guess. I was curious, like, where's the Acclaim go from here? Because I'll scissor all day with these dudes. I love them. Maybe my favorite, tag team outside of FTR right now in the business. And Daddy Ass is playing his part so well. And I still think we're going to eventually get to something with the Gun Club where Daddy Ass turns. However, I'm in love with all of this. And Jeff Jarrett,
I love Jeff Jarrett.
I've had so many decades of loving and then hating and loving and then hating Jeff Jarrett. I hate him so much, but God, I love him so much. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? How's this going to go?
I think it's going to be freaking fun. That's all I know. That's the one thing I know for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jeff Jarrett he's my new MJF. of how much of wrestlers I love. He doesn't replace MJF by any sense of the word, trust me. But he is awesome. His promos are awesome. The confidence that he has in him, you could tell he's been doing it for 75 years in the business.
As a family.
Which makes as a family, which I just love it, man.
I love that Jeff Jarrett shoulders 75 years, and
we've been in this business.
He's in his late 50s, I think.
75 years. You slap.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, and he has impacted the world of professional wrestling repeatedly over and over again. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves for how much he's evolved the business.
Dude, I
love the gimmick though. I love that the guitar is still around. I'm excited to see where it goes. Do we have anything else to say about this?
No.
All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's move on. We had Brian Cage versus Jungle Boy next. It was an okay match. I've seen Jungle Boy wrestle a bunch of big dudes. Brian Cage gained nothing from this. Jungle Boy didn't need to beat another big guy. He's already proven that he can go with any man, any size, anytime, any place. We're setting up a feud with Big Bill. Big Bill. Giant William.
Yeah.
Large Morrissey. Huge penis is what I think we're getting at here. And that's fine. Whatever. Get it in where you can, man. You can only pretend for so long.
Right.
This is exactly where we're going with this. It's cool. I dig it. I like Morrissey, man. I'm so glad because he had a really hard time for a long time. He's been very upfront about his addiction issues and his problems. His old tag partner Enzo has shown a lot of love for him. People hate Enzo Amore, but at least Enzo is honest. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to this feud. I think it's going to be cool. What else does and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, by the way, has decided now he's no longer going by just Jungle Boy. It is going to be Jungle Boy Jack Perry because he's I'm embrace his family name and honor his father. I'm excited about it.
Well, I think we left out a key element here. The handshake between him and Hook at the end. That's the feud. That's not between the two of them, but that's the feud between him and Stokely's crew. So I think that's pretty cool.
But who is the partner gonna be? Obviously, we've got Hook and Jungle Boy. And I saw online somebody said a name for this tag team, Concrete Jungle. And I went,
there you go.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's $1 million tag team. That's $1 million idea.
Yeah.
But who's going to be their opponent? Is it going to be just Big Bill in a handicap? Because I feel like Big Bill can handle it. Is it going to be Big Bill and Sanjay? No. Is it going to be Big Bill and Lethal? Probably.
Probably going to be
not that. Lethal. I'm sorry. Lee Moriarty is who I'm thinking of.
Lee. Yeah, it's going to be Lee.
Yeah.
I can tell you that because he's had issues with Hook. So,
and I think now that we're bringing Hook back into the mix, I think that's going to be the schedule. That's what they want. That's who's winning. It's going to be Hook and Jack Perry going over. And then the Firm is going to keep doing it. Are they still called the Firm?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird to me, but whatever. I don't know.
I don't have a huge amount to say about this because it wasn't that exciting to me, this match. And I think that I am glad that seeds of a storyline is appearing because I feel like they're in desperate need of it. Both of them, all of them. So I hope that they do build it into something interesting and fun and to see what could happen. And I think everyone could benefit for that. So that was the best part of it is the ideas for the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
And one quick shout out real quick. When Stokely came out with the Rest in Peace New Jack, I was like, my man, rest in peace, New Jack. That was fantastic.
Yes, that it really is.
Very cool.
For anybody out there listening or watching, if you don't know who New Jack is already, and you pretend to be a wrestling fan, I strongly suggest you go at least watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode about New Jack, and please look up some of his matches, because my God, what an animal and a machine and a monster and a gift to the business. I love New Jack. New Jack might be one of the pinnacle hardcore deathmatch style wrestlers to have ever lived.
True. And his partners smoked pencil shavings.
That's right.
Which partner? He had a bunch of them. Hell, New Jack beat up an old man once for no reason. Anyway, we had a Blackpool Combat Club segment minus one Bryan Danielson. Jon Moxley basically led this promo. It was a good promo. It was fun.
Sack of potatoes. A sack of potatoes.
It felt good. It felt like Blackpool Combat Club to me, and it seems like they're going to just. We're moving on from William Regal like he was never there. We're done with that. Well, they'll be fine. Minus Brian's opinion. What'd you guys think of the segment?
Tammy?
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
I thought it was cool. Moxley can basically carry the entire company on his shoulders.
Yeah.
That's like, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
And he has.
And he
multiple times.
And he's basically saved AEW this year when CM Punk went off the reservation there. So
shithead.
So and you know, they will be just fine without Regal. I mean, it was cool to have him in there, but I don't know how it's I think that they can recover from it very well, in other words. And you know, the only thing that I have concerns about is the only person that really can do a good promo in that group in the Blackpool Combat Club is Moxley. I mean, Danielson,
Yuda's getting better.
No, disagree.
Claudio is not very good. And
Claudio's strong suit has never been compelling promos. It's been his in-ring work. He's a great professional wrestler. He's not a great talker.
But he's endearing.
He's very endearing. You know, we got to sit down and talk about this like men. So I love that. So that's my favorite. But
that's a pretty good Claudio, by the way.
I mean, it is. So, but and I as long as Bryan Danielson's been in the business, promos are not his strong suit. He's had some okay ones. I have not been that impressed with his promos. Maybe I haven't seen enough of them. I haven't seen probably the stuff in the past. He's probably done better, but stuff that I've seen, it's good. It's just, I don't think it's as good as Moxley. That's just my opinion.
Here's what I'll say. Bryan Danielson's babyface promos suck. His heel promos, when he's actually in heel mode, are phenomenal. It's like we were talking about last time we did the show. When he was doing that whole crunchy hippie gimmick, that shit was gold, man. I mean, go back and watch it. Watch the condiment fight he had out at the concession stand with whoever it was when he was yelling about consumerism and how Americans are all fat and stuff. Go watch that. Okay, it's good stuff. I will send you guys. I'll find it on YouTube and send you guys a link because it's so good. I think we can move on from that though. But before we do, I just want to say last time we were all together, we were talking about William Regal and is he leaving? Why is he leaving? All that. It's since been confirmed. Obviously, he's going back to WWE. He will not have an on-screen role at least until 2024. He's going to be backstage. He's going to be working with talent. He's going to be doing what he loves, which is coaching. I totally get his move now. I totally understand it. I didn't necessarily get it before because I thought they had some good stuff going. AEW definitely could have benefited from him more than WWE could, but he wants to go work with his son.
Yeah.
And that's been his biggest thing. He's saying, you know, I have a few years left. I want to be able to work with my son. And that to me, it was like, as a father, say no more, brother.
Yeah.
Got it.
That makes sense. It totally makes sense.
And I wish him all the best. And like it's exactly like I said before, WWE's product is only going to improve with his influence, as it did with NXT and everything while he was over there for years. So I'm going to miss him in AEW, but I'm excited to see what he does over back in the dub.
Yep, for sure.
Moving on from that, House of Black versus the Factory. Our favorite faction, guys, House of Black.
House of Black.
Their entrance gets better every week. Their costumes get better every week. The gear is more matchy-matchy. They're all wearing really cool masks now. Julia Hart's a badass. She's no longer a little cheerleader that doesn't belong out there with a bunch of dudes. I'm kind of afraid of her. And they just dismantled the Factory with no thought whatsoever. And Julia now has magical misting power.
Yes.
I don't know why it was her that got to do it next, but I'm here for it. It gives her something to do. She now has a role that makes sense in the group. She can be the mist. She can be the one that does the dirty work while the guys do their thing.
Yep.
And while I'm sure she's still training and stuff in the background, I have a feeling as she develops, we've seen recently her wrestling has gotten much better. Her in-ring work has gotten crazy. I love this whole thing. The House of Black is literally maybe the greatest faction AEW has ever had or will have. What do you guys think of the match, though?
Tammy.
You know what's weird is I don't have any notes on the match. It just says this. It just says, love Julia and House of Black, looking good, but not sure their goals. And that's all I wrote. It's like a mystery.
As is everything with the House of Black. Yeah. Rafe, what do you got, man?
First of all, it's fun. It's great. I'm glad that all that bullshit about Malachi not coming back and doing all this stuff is in the past, and that the House of Black is back. I love Brody. I love Buddy. I love Julia. I always have since day one. I want to know what they're trying to do with this. I think that they're setting up a big feud between them and Death Triangle. That's my thoughts. But where other trios are going to be involved in this, or are we going to see them doing individual stuff, or how are they going to work this? Are they going to put more matches on Julia? Is she going to get involved, or she's fucking with the women's division and messing them up? I mean, that's what I'm really curious to see, because that could make or break the House of Black. As cool as they are and as cool as the promos are, if we don't have decent matches, it's going to get old.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Julia continuing to do her solo matches and be escorted by the House of Black and have them be at ringside and have them be the backup and have them be the distraction. That's something you don't normally see with a valet type character, is having the crew back that person up when they're wrestling. I think that could be fantastic.
Yeah. And imagine this. Let's say she decides she wants to wrestle the Bunny, and you got the Butcher and the Blade in Bunny's corner, and you got the House of Black in Julia's corner. How fun would that be? That would be totally rad. I would love it. You know what I mean? That'd be cool for me. Right? I'll take it all day.
I
Stuff
agree.
like that, you know?
I agree.
I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, man. Butcher and Blade on the outside, House of Black on the outside, Julie and the Bunny going at it.
Listen, you crumbs. Listen, you crumbs. Dude, the old school language that Andy Williams does is just killing me, man. I love him.
Butcher and Blade are absolute treasures. All right. Any other thoughts on that? Or are we moving to the next thing?
Nah, man, we're good.
So next up, we had Action Andretti versus some jobber, some guy named Chris Jericho. Absolute squash match, completely destroyed him. I loved every second of it. I loved that the crowd was so behind Action. I dug every moment of this. What'd you guys think?
I loved it because it was really, truly a shock. I was shocked. There was just no way I wasn't. I was just like, there's no way Jericho's losing to this dude. So that was a really cool thing to do. We talked about it earlier. I'm like, that's a good technique for bringing these people over. And that's an awesome thing to do for the company. And for Jericho to do that for the company, I think it's totally dope, man. I think that's a good way to put these stars over. He obviously believes in this guy enough to bring him out there on this big match. And I'll tell you what the best part of the whole thing was Jericho's fucking tantrum in the back absolutely had me in tears. I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
The tantrum was great because it was like, all right, I'm supposed to be mad. I gotta like break stuff and be chaotic, but I'm also gonna be careful because I don't want to pay for anything that gets broken.
Right.
Like he was very careful with his chaos. I dug that.
It was controlled.
Tammy, what do you think?
Oh, the whole thing was wow for the same reason. Like I didn't see it coming at all. I was so confused. I remember when I was trying to make my notes, I was like, who is he wrestling? And like, and Rafe's like, I don't know, some jobber. And I'm like, but he has to have a name. And like, I didn't even know his name for a long time. And then like all that happened. So it's like I love to be surprised. Thank goodness. Cause I've been losing hope in AEW lately. It's been boring me to tears in a lot of ways. So this week they're making a slight bit comeback at least with these kind of moves. So I loved it. I'm here for it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
And I also don't know if they did this on purpose, but when they announced him and put the name band up on the screen, it was actually Jericho. It was Jericho.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't even the guy's name.
That had to be on purpose.
What was throwing me off? That's why I kept.
I feel like that was Jericho's idea. He was like, "Put my name up."
I know, dude. It was great. I was like, I hope this is for real. I hope they didn't just make a mistake.
It made the angle so much better. Action Andretti, awesome. Reminds me of a cross between like Buddy Matthews and what's it? It's a guy I love. Blake, help me out. Blake. I can't remember. He wrestles in GCW a lot. He's been doing a lot of AEW dark matches this year. Oh, God, I feel like an asshole now because I'm a big fan of his. Anyway, he reminds me of some very talented guys. Rumor has it Jericho saw a dark match that Action Andretti did and went, I can make this guy a star. I want to take him under my wing. I want to put him over. I want to do everything I can. And you know what? Isn't that crazy for a vet to go, oh, here's a young up-and-comer with talent. Let me fucking put them over.
Wow.
No, it's
fantastic.
Cool. What kind of world would it be if all the vets actually put people over without worrying about themselves? Holy shit.
Well, that's because Jericho has stock in the company.
Imagine all the people.
Right? Jericho wants this company to be successful, man. I guarantee he's got a deal where he's got some stock because he's got some type of investment in it. I know he does. He's a smart businessman. Yeah. And so for him to do something like that and put this younger talent in there for the future, all he's doing is setting up his retirement fund. And it's awesome. Right? It's true.
Yep.
And so why wouldn't you do that? I think everyone should do it. Jericho's 53. He's old as I am. He ain't gonna be able to do this forever. I mean, he's just not gonna be able to. I mean, he got a year left, year and a half. Dude, it hurts. Trust me.
Yeah, but he's got a commentary career ahead. He's got the Jericho Cruise. He's got Fozzy. He's set for life, bro.
Absolutely. But still, why not make more if you're invested in AEW?
Put everybody else over on your way out.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. Very fun, very cool.
Tammy, I heard you singing.
Yep. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
Hope and while we're talking about
join us, and the world will live as one.
While we're talking about catchy songs, Ruby Soho is back.
Destination with a brand new nose. Yes, she does. And
she had a mess. I almost said she had a mess because it was a mess. She had a match with Ty Mello.
Okay. Listen,
Hold on.
I have things to say.
I like Ty Mello. I still like her as a performer, but I just can't stand her character anymore. Her and Sammy both have go away heat to me. Period. I thought Ruby was going to get her comeuppance. Anna Jay came out, spoiled all the fun. And where was Willow? Where was Willow to return the favor to Ruby? Willow, it goes, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There was no back scratching. Willow should have come out. I want to see the tag match yesterday. Go ahead, Rafe.
Well, Tammy, you go first. Give me a comment on this.
I don't really have much to say about this. I'm still like, I don't know. Something isn't clicking for me and everything for some reason. I don't know. Ruby's comeback should have been bigger, and I don't know. Like, there should have been more buildup and promos and some shit talking with each other. I don't feel like there was a really good. I know they've had their stuff in the past, but then there was some like dead, noise for a little while. So I would like to have seen it fired up with some promos again and stuff. Get us back into it.
And that's a very good point, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. This is the only feud with the women that really is kind of strong if you think about it, because number one, listen to me, hear me out. First of all, Ty supposedly broke Ruby's wrist, right? Remember when she slammed her wrist in the door, right? Yeah, I know, you can hear it all you want. And then
I think these are working.
Ty broke her nose. This all leads up. This is a storyline of Ruby wanting to beat the shit out of her because of all of this stuff in the past. It just so happened it had to have a lot of space in between because she had to have her nose recover. But give me another storyline for the women's division that's as heated as that one. Tell me right now, which one?
Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm.
Not really. Not as much.
Britt and Saraya.
Not really. Not much. There was no broken nose. There was no broken wrist. There's just a bunch of talk. What give me that those aren't legit to me.
Why are you treating us like we're in an inquisition right now? That's what I want to know.
I'm just asking a question. I feel like I'm
under a firing line with this.
Because y'all are disagreeing with me, but this is a storyline that's got legs.
It's not a duel.
But we can disagree. Listen to me.
Why are you clicking like a chicken? You think I'll respond to that?
It's a storyline. It's better than the rest of the storylines that anybody has.
Can you click again?
I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna dig my heels in on that one, man.
But nobody's arguing with you.
You're allowed to have your opinion, bro.
Yes.
Well, that's the most beautiful part about our podcast is we can disagree and it don't matter. There he goes, simping again.
I'm telling you, it's the only one that's working.
I can see Rafe now walking behind Maxwell at the airport carrying his bags.
I'll do it. I'm not kidding. I'll be his manager.
No, I agree. It is a very compelling women's feud in a lack of feuds that are interesting in the women's division.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like that's the only one.
But where was Willow though? You guys haven't said anything about that.
I know that's a slow burn. You know how Tony Khan is. He stretches this shit out as far as he could stretch it out, and then he picks his moment to bring her in. I guarantee.
Speaking of Willow, she was the one and only RJ City's guest on Hey EW today. I highly recommend everybody go watch that because Willow is a light in this world that I cannot even describe. There is something about that lady that just makes my heart feel warm and fuzzy, and I love Willow so much. Go watch it. Go watch the interview. It's fantastic.
Say it again. It's Hey EO.
I got it.
Hey EW. Are you serious?
Hey,
you don't watch Hey EW with RJ City?
Like HEY or
Hey
HAY?
Hey HEY.
HEH?
Hey EW.
Can you send me a link, please?
Holy shit, Rafe.
Don't send her a link.
Dude,
I know.
Fix this.
I will.
What's happening?
It's okay.
Well, I'm because I'm
Jesus
intrigued and I
Christ.
want to hear it. I want to hear
No,
this,
we're gonna
'cause I
move. We're
love
gonna
her
move
and I wanna
past that
hear-
really fast because now I'm embarrassed for you. So let's move to the final match of
I
the
am
night,
never
guys.
embarrassed for myself, so I'm glad someone else is.
And
Okay.
you shouldn't be. That's what makes you who you are, Tammy, and we love you for it. I have a feeling you're an icon wherever you go. All right, moving on.
Did you tell him that?
We talked about it on the podcast, bro.
Oh, that's right.
It's literally on it's you could go find it right now. Anyhow, Ricky Starks versus MJF.
Pebble.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Rafe, this is your boy. I think you should go first.
Yes.
It was a thing of beauty. It was perfect. There's
That's all
nothing
you got?
better than that match. It's perfect. There's perfection. How can you comment on perfection? You can't.
Okay, I have some comments and I'll disagree after. But
You
Tammy,
could
go ahead.
disagree. You could disagree, but anything that has MJF on the screen is absolute perfection.
No, I love MJF. You're right. But Tammy, what do you
Starks
think?
came
I knew
up
Rafe was just gonna
MJF.
be like, I love it, it's gold.
I just love that Starks. This was a growth moment for Starks. We've watched him on a journey to this point, and he really superseded my expectations.
He's
And
had
I
a roller
love
coaster
when
of a
people do
year,
that.
huh?
Huh?
He's had a roller coaster of a year. He's had
Yes.
the spotlight so many times and they keep taking it away from him. It's like this push pull start stop thing I don't understand.
But he's handling it. So I think like he elevates every single time that happens. So like his promos coming up and his monologuing with MJF, this is what I didn't know I needed, you know. So I've been enjoying all of this. And you know, everything was as it should be in this match. And you know, I think the outcome wasn't a surprise, but the journey there was fun.
I don't know about how much of a surprise it was.
Well,
They
that's why I said
just
it
put the
wasn't a
strap on
surprise.
Max.
No,
I
she
said
said
it wasn't
she
a
wasn't a
surprise.
surprise.
Oh,
She said
okay,
it wasn't
okay.
a surprise.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't
Rafe-
a surprise. I just like the journey there.
Rafe, you
I s-
called this the last time we talked, and I did not have all my information in line. Had I known that this was going to be a winner take all match, I would have said, oh yeah, Max is keeping the ring and the title for sure. I thought it was going to be a separate thing. I was not aware that Max had the opportunity to fight him. That was me being ignorant because this was the first time that there was a new challenger for the ring and that Max would have to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this whole thing. I loved it. I loved it so much. Ricky is the man. Ricky Starks has proven time and time again this year. He is a Emmer effing star.
He is. He's
Bottom
great.
line.
His promos were incredible.
The one thing I will take issue with is when MJF said, I made you. He did not make Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks has been hustling to make himself week after week, month after month, injury after injury. Once I found out what the stipulations were, I knew Max was going to win. But that doesn't mean that I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody
like Ricky deserves better, I think.
Oh no,
I really do.
That's gonna make him better. This is putting Ricky over the top, man. Everybody
I
is
do
talking
think
about it.
I do think he looked like $1 million in this because MJF had to pull all the stops to get the win in this. He cheated left and right. He did everything he could. It was amazing. But the big talking point for me here is after Max won the match and was on his way out, Bryan Danielson came back and he seems upset. He seems a little angry.
He's very angry.
He's mad that his adopted father got hit.
I know. I love it. It's great.
He chased little coward Max all the way out of he damn near ran out of the arena down the street, but he stopped just enough to show his little cheap ass Burberry title.
Is that being a coward or being smart about things?
He's a coward.
I think it's being smart.
You run from somebody that's close to your weight that you think you can beat, you're a coward. But that's typical heel behavior, and I like it. That's what I like about Max. It fits the character. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You're gonna have to give that guy some prize money if you want him to fight Daniels. Like that's it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
That was it for Dynamite, man. It was a good show. It was a good show.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So,
it was a good show.
Moving on, we're dragging ass here. I'm sorry, folks. Did you guys catch Impact this week?
No, I do. The only thing that I caught on Impact was that we're coming down between Jordan Grace and Mickie James, and that this next pay-per-view that they're going to do is the careers on the line. And
yeah.
And winner, like, she either wins the title or she hangs up her career, Mickie James.
But it basically has been, right? Like Mickie James has been putting a career down for the last few matches. There's a lot of moving parts right now in Impact. There's a lot of roster changes. There's a lot of people leaving and a lot of new signees. So and the stuff I saw in highlights is just, it feels like they're kind of biding their time and pushing the momentum into 2023 so that they can sort of start the new year in an explosive way, and kind of let things settle before they really start pushing new stuff.
I think so, because now they're starting to gear up with Giselle and Deonna Purrazzo, so that's kind of like a tag team that they're trying to go after.
And I think Deonna's on her way out too.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there's too many changes right now, so we're gonna have to sit on Impact for a bit and see what happens.
Well, that brings me to SmackDown, guys. Did you watch SmackDown?
And I haven't had a chance to check the highlights, so I don't have much to say about this at all. I didn't get a chance to really check it out. So,
Tammy, I hate to assume, but yeah, okay. So you didn't watch it either. All right. Well, I'll run down what I thought was impactful. Okay.
Okay.
We had a women's tag title match: Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox, which seemed a little weird. They're kind of a thrown together tag team. The match was very chaotic, and at one point we had Bayley interfering, and then we had interference from a mystery woman in a black hoodie, and everybody was like, well, who's that? I heard some people saying, oh, it's Mandy Rose. She's actually going to the main roster. I heard some people saying, oh, it's this person. Oh, it's that person. Oh, it's The Rock's daughter. And I even saw somebody go, was that CM Punk? Which that was my favorite. It turned out to be Xia Li. Okay, cool. I guess I don't know where she fits into this thing. I don't know what we're trying to do here. Maybe we're starting up a faction with Xia, and I don't know. Maybe Xia is gonna. The way I saw it is maybe she's gonna join Damage Control. I don't know. Yeah, so obviously you guys didn't see it, so you don't have much opinion on that. The next thing we had was the LA Knight Bray Wyatt segment we talked about earlier, where Uncle Howdy came out. I've already said enough about that, so I won't drag on it. I just want to say again, I'm really into this Bray Wyatt thing. It was my favorite thing in late 2020, and it's my favorite thing now. Bray Wyatt can do no wrong in my eyes, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Nice. We had a match between Gunther and Ricochet. This was for the which title was that? I don't even know what title Gunther has right now, but
the international title. It's the international one. It's whatever.
Is that what it's called though? It's like the European title, maybe yeah, whatever. But he retained clearly. I mean, it's Gunther, aka Walter. I think Gunther's a stupid name. That was a big mistake to change his name. And then we had this weird shit where Imperium came out and they stopped the beatdown by bringing out Braun Strowman to help Ricochet. I don't know what the hell's that. Like, they have no relationship. They have no business being together. Ricochet could definitely handle his own shit. They should have brought out his friends to end this thing. Whatever. We can move right on from that. Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma. This match has caused a lot of buzz online. There was some not so great spots in this match, particularly on the part of one Top Dollar. I will stand behind what I said when Triple H brought back this faction. without Swerve, it is not the same. Hit Row was as good and as great and as popular as they were because Swerve made the group. I have no problem with Top Dollar. I can't wrestle. I can't pull off these moves. People make mistakes. It happens in the ring. I'm not going to judge him for that. It just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? People are talking a lot of shit about him. I don't think it's fair. But I wanted to see more, especially with bringing Legado back on TV again. I don't know where we're going from here with that.
And on a side note, that's the Intercontinental Championship with Ricochet and Gunther.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was the Intercontinental title. That's right. The IC title for you hardcore wrestling fans. And then we moved on to a segment backstage. Raquel Gonzalez, or is it Rodriguez? Which one is she now?
I think it's Rodriguez.
It's Rodriguez. Okay. She got beat up by Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. So, okay. Ronda has recently said in a couple things that she's kind of feels like she's run her course as a solo talent, and she would like to do some tag team wrestling, and I think it would help elevate Shayna. So I'm all for that. I just don't know why we're picking on Raquel for this. Yeah, it was cool, but it was also like, why bother?
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yes.
That's her name.
And then we moved on to a segment with the Bloodline.
Yeah. Sami Zayn.
Potentially one of the greatest things WWE has done in a very long time. They're talking about KO. They're questioning Sami Zayn in a weird sort of backhanded way. We set up this kind of who's going to be this mystery partner for Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. And it turns out, I'll be damned, it's somebody. I couldn't see who it was.
Is it John Cena?
I don't know if it was. There was just an invisible guy there talking.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you can't see him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So this might be lost on my friends here, but for those of you out there, you got the joke, I think. You can't see me. Wow, that went over like a fucking bucket of grapes.
Fart in church.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm excited about this. John Cena is going to get a match in 2022. Kevin Owens needed a partner. I think we're going to see the Sami Zayn turn soon. But boy, if I don't love Sammy Uso.
I do too. It's going to be sad when he turns.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a shame to ruin it, but we have to evolve. We have to move on. We have to escalate storylines, right?
Right.
But I really just, the only thing I missed from this segment was I missed the John Cena run-in with the never give up towel and the salute and all the bullshit Cena normally does. I don't know why they did this as a video thing. I'm assuming Cena's busy because, you know, he's super Hollywood now. Whatever.
He's very Hollywood.
I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to it. Any other thoughts, guys, on SmackDown?
No, not at all.
So, is it safe to assume you guys watched Rampage?
It is safe to assume this.
All right. Rafe, why don't you take Rampage away then, man?
Sure. Jon Moxley versus Sammy. They are trying so hard to feel like they're saving Sammy's career. And I think that the fans have turned on him so hard, it doesn't matter what he does. He's never going to be liked by the fans, either as a heel or as a face, because even if he's trying to be a heel, he doesn't seem like he's going over as a heel. I just think people don't like him at all. And it's kind of a shame because He's really good at what he does.
It's
man.
exactly what I said. Is it's go away heat. It's no longer heel heat. It's no longer cheap heat. It is go away, get off my TV heat.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see Sammy anymore, and it's a shame. You're right. He's very talented, but he's a fuck up man, and he caused too much drama behind the scenes.
And they just
you can't say anything else about it.
No, the fans turned on him. Tammy, anything on that?
I thought it was I don't know. I guess I thought that like the whole Garcia mentor with Sammy Guevara, if they did that storyline, is interesting, but there is that added elements and pressures of what you all just spoke of. So if that wasn't there, it could be interesting, I think. That I thought, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with all this. I don't have the hate everyone has for Sammy. I think it's a shame as well. But I also don't work there. I also don't have to deal with whatever goes on that I'm unaware of. So, but all that aside, that could have been an interesting storyline involving Garcia for once.
It could have been. It could have been.
What I was going to say, actually, Tammy, is you were a big supporter of Sammy for a long time.
Yes, I still am.
Okay.
Like I'm not bothered by all the his personal relationships, which is what got him here.
Yeah. But what about the bullshit with all the fighting and stuff? That doesn't bother you even a little bit?
About it. I just hear about somebody he got a pie thrown in his face by Kingston, which is hilarious. I hope that really happened. I don't know. I haven't heard. I don't know. So that's why I'm saying I don't have to work with him. I watch what the product is, and he has never let down there. And I think that's what happens is we get to know too much behind the scenes. It's like don't meet your heroes kind of situation because they're always assholes. They always are. So it's better not to know. And we're getting into a part of the world where there's so much transparency now that when people are in entertainment, we know too much about their personal lives and we mash it all together and make all these judgments. But sometimes I think art should be art unless that person is like raping people, murdering people and stuff like that. If they're just like a jerk and they have interpersonal problems, I don't care because I don't work there. Let those people worry about that. If they have their issues, they deal with it how they deal with it. But on the outside, as a consumer, I don't care. The art needs to be the art. Do you know how many people and actors and stuff now I know problematic things about? But it doesn't take away the fact that they're good at their jobs and that they did some badass fucking movies. Fair. Like we're getting to a point where everything and everyone's going to be problematic. So what are we going to do? Never enjoy any entertainment? Even Disney's problematic, people.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So that's it.
All right. Well, after the match,
asked.
After the match, Hangman came out to confront Mox again. What do you guys think about
that? I think
I knew it. It's hard to talk about any of this.
I just think they should let Mox take his vacation, man. He wanted to go fishing. Let the dude go fishing. You know what I mean? It's cool and all. I know you want to get Hangman back involved, but there's so many other people that they could get him involved in. They don't. To be fair, though,
after that promo on Wednesday with Hangman talking about how he looked at his kid and couldn't remember his name.
Oh yeah,
that was so.
It was a tearjerker.
Oh god, it just. I wanted to hold him. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to grab Hangman and hug him. But then he comes out and he wants to fight. So I guess we're not done with Moxley and Hangman yet.
No. So
I did. I thought it was super entertaining. I loved that when the poor security getting the buckshot and all that. I thought the drama was a lot of fun. I was thoroughly entertained. I'll go for it all the time.
Cool. And then we get into Britt Baker and Sky Blue for some reason. Well, I think they're trying to push her. And I think that, my opinion on this is they're trying to get her over a little bit, Sky Blue, because she's actually technically a good wrestler.
She's okay performance-wise, but good God, she needs to learn how to cut a promo.
She does. She does need
that shit killed me with the.
Yeah.
What was she looking at?
I have no
Are
idea.
they giving her cue cards?
I don't know what they're doing. She was all over the place. But
Britt was a boss in that one, though. Britt was a boss.
Yeah, she was. I think if she could get a personality, I think if she could get a gimmick, she's going to be good. But well,
Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez stole it. So
yeah, they kind of did. Tammy,
Yawn.
Okay, where there you go. And then the Sheeta Jamie Hayter thing. Okay, let's hope Jamie takes all the other belts that Sheeta has. That would be kind of cool. But
that's not going to happen.
I'm not that thrilled about
it. That's not what's on the line.
Yeah, I know.
It's just the AEW belt,
which is kind of lame. So I'm not really that excited about that. But this is the problems that we have here.
Yeah, Sheeta's getting stomped, bro. She's getting stomped, and we can move on. Hater for life. I am a hater for life. That's what I've decided.
Is that right? Well, of course.
I've decided now that her fans should just be called haters.
Haters. The hater fan. The haters. I'm telling you.
We're just the haters. Hater for life.
Yep.
Hater for life.
There you go.
Baby.
And I hope she has a long reign of defending this title and they make it more interesting. So it's going to be cool.
I think you mean a reign of terror.
A reign of terror. Let's hope. Let's hope. So then we get to Wardlow, who squashed, I guess that guy's name is Exodus Prime. All right. And then Samoa Joe isn't finished with him yet, which is, I thought Samoa Joe's promo was pretty good. He got all pissed off and was screaming. That was great.
So, it was a good promo.
What did you think, Tammy?
About the whole Wardlow thing?
Yeah.
Squash match. Okay, whatever. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Always good to see you, though. And
hold on, a minute ago you were drooling about Wardlow with his
exactly. That's why it's always good to see you part. And I mean, he's all right. And
sure.
And the whole Samoa Joe thing, it'll be pretty interesting.
He's all right.
I want to say this about Samoa Joe. I love that his promos always involve a lot of spit.
They do.
Like he just screams and yells and there's spit everywhere. He doesn't try to be careful. He doesn't wipe sweat or saliva from his face. Samoa Joe is a real animal.
He leans into it, man.
He does. And it's great. It's part of who he is.
Yep. So, yeah, we're obviously setting that up for the title. We'll see how that works out. Then we get into the 8-man best friends tag team with Dan Alves and Dustin Rhodes, the Butcher and the Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Seven. There were so many people in this ring, it was hard to even understand it. But I will say this. I've always loved Dustin. He's great. His moves are awesome. Kip Sabian is winning me over every time I see him wrestle. So that's all I have to say about that.
What'd you guys think of Trent Seven?
He was pretty cool, man. But
yeah, he is.
Tammy, what's your thoughts, Tammy?
Well, I think he needs some pants. That's the first thing. Otherwise, I'll say as a whole, this was a fun.
He needs some pants.
Yes.
Not those bikini briefs he's been rocking, huh?
No, it looks more like a fancy Depend.
Oh.
And I don't think that's doing him any good service. So otherwise, all over, this was a very fun group. I enjoyed all the mischief.
Hey, you asked the question, Chris. He needs some pants.
Oh shit.
Ooh. Oh, that was rough.
Oh God, I gotta recover from that. Hold on.
That hurts a little.
So I think we mentioned it briefly last week. 2023 is apparently Dustin's last year in the ring.
Yeah.
Which is sad for me, and also like he so deserves to finally get a break. One of the greatest to ever do it, the son of the legendary Dusty Rhodes.
Aw.
And while his brother may be gone, Dustin is a trainer. He carries the banner for the family in AEW. He has contributed so much to the business. I'm so happy to see him on TV, even if it's only once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Danhausen is a gem.
Always.
Best friends rule. I know Tammy hates the hug gimmick, but I think it's awesome. And Butcher and Blade.
I like everything else, though.
Butcher and Blade, we've talked about tons of times. We love them. I love the bit with the bunny and Penelope and the fake nut shots and all that when it got ejected. Beautiful. That was so fucking funny. Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Whoever came up with that spot.
Perfect.
I've never seen it before.
It's funny.
I've never seen it before where women get in the ring and there's fake nut shots. I like Trent Seven. I think he's cool, man. I think he's got a career ahead of him if he can stick around.
If he changes his pants, he'll be good to go.
All right.
I've seen worse.
And that wraps it up for that one. So what do we got going now?
Our year in review, right?
Guys, I hate to say it because time flies when you're having fun, but we've been doing this shit for a whole year, you guys.
Oh,
wow.
12 months of the Murder Theater podcast.
Woo!
Yay! Before I say anything else, I want to thank you guys for joining me and being a part of this journey we've all been on together. I've had so much fun. This has been an absolute blast of a year. Every time we do this, it's the best day every week. Every time we have the opportunity. Tammy, Rafe, look at how far you've come in 2022. Rafe, I know you were a fan of wrestling when you were younger and stuff, but recently getting back into it late 2021. Tammy, you just starting as a fan in 2021. Where we started the year and where we started the podcast and how we got to where we are now at the end of 2022 going into 2023. What are your thoughts on your fanness, your fandom? I'm not sure what to call it. Your opinions about the business, what's changed, what's been good, what's been bad. I want to hear all of it.
Go ahead, Tammy.
Well, and happy anniversary. I love you guys.
Yes, love you too. This brother. Has been the best thing to have such a fun thing to do with two people that I love dearly. So if for anything else, if for no other reason, doing it just for that is quite fulfilling. And, you know, it's a good just time to be silly and have fun. And as far as wrestling goes, I don't know how much I've changed. I really don't have perspective on myself sometimes. So I don't know, but sometimes I feel like I know more and sometimes I don't. But one thing I know for sure is whatever amount I think I know or don't, is that there's so much more to widen my education and my experiences with this entertaining art form. So I think that sometimes I wonder if I'm more judgy than I was in the beginning. And I hope to try to keep the child's mind likeness of it, to be open to this amazing performance art everywhere I go, because I have found over the course of this time that I don't prefer the big fancy bright light stadium type things. I discovered I really like to be in small areas with people that are doing it that might not even be getting paid to do it. And that is so exciting for me to see people put themselves out there in the world and take that risk to connect with their passion. So I think that's where I've discovered that the directions I will more likely go than not, as far as when I'm adding on to my wrestling experiences.
She's hardcore, man. I mean, she will go to the deepest of the underground of wrestling here.
Hey, that's the best way to be a wrestling fan. Go to the bottom and go up from there. Tammy, I will say, as someone who's been observing you and your fandom, over the last year. We started this podcast as basically we were just going to talk about AEW. We were going to talk about All Elite because that was your first exposure and what really got you into liking wrestling. And you had reasons for that. You had certain wrestlers that intrigued you and all of that. And now you're finding this new route of these independent promotions and smaller companies and all this stuff and unique wrestlers and people who don't necessarily signify the typical professional wrestler. And I think that's fantastic. I am so excited to have seen the transitions so far. And I can't wait to see where you go in the future with your fandom. I think it's really cool. I'm excited that somebody in my family has become a fan of professional wrestling, which I've been pushing for years and everybody laughed at. I think it's dope. I'm super happy to have you here. And Rafe, I gotta ask, man, how do you think, you know, with your experience as a kid who was into wrestling and stuff, and you took so many years away, how do you think you've changed from the start of this year to now?
Well, I'll tell you this. I have really gotten into the technical art form of this business. And what I've really kind of focused on it and really started paying attention to and really appreciated was the technical element of this sport and just how you can make a match either bad by your technical work in the ring or absolutely excellent. And being able to kind of like check that out and then see the storylines and the characters and what characters work and what characters don't, that's really like kind of upped my appreciation for wrestling, period, to the point where it's like, okay, it was just wrestling. Okay, I liked the characters when I was a kid. You know, I was entertained by the characters. Like one of my favorite one when I was a kid was George the Animal Steel. Well, obviously he's a total character. Got a green tongue, bald, hairy. It was great. But now the way that I watch wrestling is I look at it in a technical manner, kind of like I look at, you know, musical bands and how they play and, you know, how they put things together, how they create songs. It's like how these guys create matches. I think feels like a really great art form. And it's really gotten me excited to see the really good matches and the smoothness of these moves without actually killing each other. And, you know, and so that's what's really kind of pushed me up over the top as far as like getting more of a fan and getting more into it just because of that really alone. So yeah, man. And this has been a fun journey. It's great that my wife actually talked me into doing this. Tammy was just like, she's like, I mean, it just came out of the blue. She's like, hey man, we're gonna
watch wrestling now.
She goes, we're gonna watch wrestling. I said, what the fuck? I mean, you don't even look at sports. I mean, it's like I sit there and I watch the NFL. I watch the World Cup today. I watch any NHL game there's possible. I mean, I like sports. And then she's like, she hated this shit. And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch some wrestling. I go, fucking wrestling? She's like, yeah, there's this new thing. It's like it's like WWE, but it's AEW, and we're gonna watch some wrestling. And the next thing you know, like fuck, a couple weeks later, I'm at a show, and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? And it was just like, it was kind of like this thing that just kind of like zoomed in on me to like, here, my wife is into it. Oh, cool. This is really cool. And it's great that I get to share that with her because it's awesome, you know, and it's great that I get to share it with you too, because, you know, we were in a band together and in a long time
Several
ago.
bands.
And it was fun being in a band with you. So it's like, it's great to have this connection again and do all this stuff. And it really makes me very happy every time I get to do it. And every time I get to watch wrestling too. So it makes me happy to think about all the things that are going to come together once it's over and we all get together and talk about it.
So. And again, outside perspective, looking at you, Rave, watching you go from, oh, my wife is suddenly into wrestling to now you're the one who's doing all the texting. You're the one following the news. You're the one looking at the rumors. You're the one showing us the Instagrams. You are the one of the two of you that is the most into the shit. It's beautiful to me. I'm so excited. And I appreciate the fact that you and I get to have this kind of thing that we all share now, just like with Tammy. As you said, you and I have had our own bonds over the years with music and everything else. And I am thrilled that I finally get to have something different with you in the form of professional wrestling, which is great because for the longest time, again, like I said, I felt like I was so alone as a wrestling fan. And now one of the people I would consider like a brother to me is now so into the business and so into the stuff, and I have somebody to go to when I just want to say shit. It's so fun to have this connection with you guys.
Yeah.
And where we started again at the beginning when it was just about All Elite Wrestling, and now you're both getting into all kinds of crazy stuff. You guys, Tammy, you introduced me to enjoy wrestling. Rafe, cool. You've gotten into death matches and hardcore stuff and been watching weird, obscure shit and going back and watching old stuff and all these things. Just the progression between when we started this podcast to now, watching you guys go from Rafe, granted, you were a fan years ago, but that doesn't count. Going from a new fan to now where you're like on top of shit and paying attention to everything, it's a beautiful thing to me. I'm so glad that you guys caught the bug. I can't tell you how much it's meant to me to have this connection with you guys and to spend this amount of time with you guys and to share this with whoever's watching and listening and all that stuff. For those of you out there that don't know, this is my family, and family doesn't always get to connect on this kind of level. So for me, this is super special, and I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for spending this time and taking the effort and putting in the work to do this thing with me. It means a lot.
All right, dude. Well, we love you, dude, and it's fun.
I love it. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without you, Chris, because you know the most and you taught us so much and you told us what matches to go look for. So thank you.
You're like the Moxley of our company. You're kind of carrying it. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I would agree with that, man, but I'm having so much fun with you guys, and I'm really looking forward to 2023. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We're starting the social media game. We're getting things rolling. Things are moving. Things are evolving. I'm excited for the future. I hope you guys are having just as much fun as I am, because this is literally like, this is one of the lifelines that I have in my world. So to have it with you guys is dope, man.
Yeah.
I can't say any more without crying. So thank you.
It's awesome, dude. It's awesome, man. And it's great. And another thing about it is, for me, it's great to kind of like rekindle this desire for this stuff. Cause I mean, it's just like when I was a kid, it was so cool, you know? And then, you know, I guess I got hardened through the years about it and was like, oh, this is lame. And then I had a really, one of my best friends in college loved wrestling a lot too. He kind of revived it a little bit for me. We used to actually go to the video game place and play the WWE video thing. And so, or WWF at that time. And, so to get back into it and to follow all these characters and to really have that new option of AEW, and to see that style of wrestling, because I've always, when I was a little kid, I was always into the luchadors, like real little kid. I'm talking like 8 or 9 years old. I was into the luchadors. So when I came back and into wrestling and saw the Lucha Brothers, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. It's like Mills Mascara. I used to have a poster of Mills Mascara on my wall when I was 8 years old.
That's awesome.
9 years old. A big picture of him standing there with the mask and everything. And I even made a mask for myself as a kid. My mother helped me make a mask, a Mills Mascaras mask that I used to wear around the house and pretend I was a fucking wrestler. Yeah, it's the truth. So to get back into this, it's like, it's really, really fucking cool. It's really exciting.
Right.
So, and then the luchadors, man, I just love the luchadors. So it's really super cool to have that happen. So I'm so glad I'm back into it, because I really enjoy it. So for sure.
All right. Year in review.
Go for it, Tim.
2022. So besides our fandom, 2022 has been a wild year in the business. I think AEW has kind of developed every year since they started. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think Impact has had its ups and downs, but I think they're sort of on an uprise through this year. I think a lot has happened in the business, but let's talk about some of our favorite stuff from this year.
Sure. Go. You want to go first, Tammy?
So this is weird for me because my favorites this year are also my first year. And there's still so much to develop and learn. And one thing I learned through all of this is your opinion can change under one match.
Like
so it's
that.
really hard to choose
at the drop
favorites.
of a dime.
Yes. So I like that because I'm such an absolutist in certain ways. I like to have that wildness of maybe I'll like them, maybe I won't, I don't know. So of course, since it's my first year, we all know who my favorite wrestler is, no matter what. It's Rey Fenix. I own the figure. Okay. It's the only one I own. No, I think
I was wondering. If that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, but so just because I feel like there's a certain vibe, and I love all of Death Triangle. And I just feel like there's a certain vibe. I love, if you go look at them, they have their own store, and they have their own club, and they have this whole thing with the vintage lucha movies that they show. They're freaking cool. They have a really inspiring backstory, and I feel like they always come like at a total height of entertainment. Like they never take it for granted. And they're so smooth at what they do, and they do these things that come across magical. So even though there's so many good wrestlers right now, it's still going to be Rey Fenix. And then
hold on before we move on from there. Rafe, favorite wrestler of 2022.
Y'all can guess.
We could.
Does it start with an M and end with a F?
Both Tammy and I have our assumptions, but let's clarify for anyone out there who hasn't paid attention before.
All right. It's MJF. It's been since the minute that man walked onto the set. I mean, I think like one of the first AEWs we saw, he sat down with Jericho and did the contract with whatever contract what was going on. And I was like, that's it, dude. This guy is the shit. I was just like, this is great. Now, if you want to talk about new wrestlers that have come into my
Nope.
Not yet.
I'm coming
back. Favorite wrestler of 2022.
Favorite wrestler of 2022 is MJF with all his fucking shenanigans and the shit he pulls, man. It's just he set everything up perfectly. I mean,
fair enough.
Perfectly.
I have a suggested category though. I think
hold on. Before we move on.
Go ahead, Chris. You got to say.
My favorite wrestler of 2022.
I'm really excited to hear this. I need a drum roll for this.
No, we don't. I am basing this on technicality, work, ability, natural talent. Bryan Danielson.
I agree.
My favorite professional wrestler of 2022. He's had a tremendous year. I think the leash being off of him when he left WWE has given him the ability to not worry about being a gimmick and being a character and all of that. He just gets to be a badass wrestler. Think about how many matches he had this year. Adam Page, all the stuff he did, the fucking super long draw matches, the constant kick in the face to all the newbies, all these things, the stuff with Blackpool Combat Club, the stuff with William Regal. Bryan Danielson is at his peak and potentially on his way out. And I think maybe this was his best year in the business. Definitely my favorite wrestler of 2022.
Cool. Makes sense. He's great. Absolutely great. All right. What's next? The storyline? Favorite storyline of 22?
Yeah. What this one's interesting. Favorite storyline of 2022. Rafe?
Mine's going to be quick. Y'all know what it is.
Well, go ahead.
It's the MJF storyline. Everything he's done this year. All of them. I mean, every single one he's done. And the
You got to be
comeback.
more specific than that. What was the
All right.
best? What was the best program MJF was in this year for you?
The best program he was in with this year was when he got suspended for a couple of months with Tony Khan, and he had called everybody a mark, and he asked everyone to fire him. That was fucking brilliance,
Unprecedented,
absolute brilliance,
complete
and
uniqueness. Never been done. Never will be done again. I agree.
right.
That's fantastic.
And literally wiped him from the face of the earth on AEW. Nobody knew what was going on. It was dark. There was nothing happening, and it was like they wiped his merch off of the website. You heard shit from him, and then
I think it's safe to say that was the biggest work of the year as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think that was the best storyline when he dropped off of TV for what 3 months, and then he comes back and makes this comeback and becomes the champion within 2022. That's
despite all the shit that happened in between as well.
Despite it, I thought it was perfect.
Tammy,
I agree completely 1000%, but I have a little bit of a twist on which
no. Fuck all that. I want your favorite storyline of 2022.
Yeah, yours, Tammy.
Well, I like the one with MJF and Wardlow because it turned Wardlow into who he is now and gave him the opportunity to like break out and be the big star he is. But
okay,
they did all the trials and
I'm in the room.
No, you're actually not though. You're down the hall.
I so did not expect that. I had like 5 other scenarios I thought you might pick for best storyline of the year. I'm so excited that you guys both have something to do with MJF.
My second runner-up would have been the acclaimed Daddy Ass shit.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's fair. You know what? The MJF Wardlow storyline was epic. I felt like it dragged on too long. It took too long to get there.
It started out that way, but I like the way it ended. And the other thing is, like, with the opposite, with the one with the monologue was so good about the mark, but him being gone so long, I didn't like.
Gotcha. Well,
what about you, Chris?
I'm gonna switch companies on you guys, man.
That's fine.
I'm all about the bloodline this year.
That was really good, man.
Roman Reigns, the Usos, everything they've done this year in WWE, and by everything they've done, I mean carried the entire company.
Yeah.
And the stuff with Sami Zayn, there's nothing more compelling to me than what they've been doing over there. So, yeah, there's not much else to say about that. Let's move on to Tammy. What was your favorite tag team of 2022?
You know what? That was a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks.
I gotta say these were all tough ones, but I felt like maybe Young Bucks might be your pick.
You got it. If you were betting money, you would have won some.
I think that's a super fair, accurate statement. Rafe, what about you, man?
Okay. Now, I'm gonna put an asterisk on this.
It's getting interesting.
I have deep love for the Young Bucks. Deep love for the Young Bucks. But they were
life.
For life. But they were not my favorite tag team this year. My favorite tag team, and there's a reason that they were my favorite tag team, is the Acclaimed. And the reason that the Acclaimed is my favorite tag team is because of how they developed and came through. That's what I love the most about the Acclaimed, because they were 2 kids that you would never expect I wouldn't have expected when I saw them for the first time, ever expected in a million years that they would be anything but just a gimmick tag team. To be perfectly honest with you, I figured they had their little gimmick. That's cool. They weren't really going to be champs because they were very young. And then they were almost canceled because of, Caster's rap a few times. And they were just this not so popular group of guys that just became superstars over the year. And I thought
I'm a
that was
testament to that
fantastic.
because I
thought it
shit
was
all over
fantastic.
them for several months.
Yeah, I get it. You don't didn't expect anything from them, and then for them, that Keith Lee match when they Swerve in Our Glory, when they did that first one, it was an epic match, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be fun because really when you saw everything from the Acclaimed was just kind of like, oh, they did a couple things, he did the mic drop, the match was over, right? And then they kept kind of doing that, and there really wasn't too much of a build up. You had some stuff with slowly bubbling with Daddy Ass, but I felt that Daddy Ass was kind of overshadowing them a little bit, this, that, and the other thing. But then, towards the end of this year, they really came into their own, and they're really a good, entertaining, technically good tag team. And so my vote for 2022 is the Acclaimed.
Yeah, if we had a topic on here that was like most unexpected enjoyable team, they'd be on my list because I hated them at the beginning of this year. I couldn't stand them. I thought they were shit. Max Caster pissed me off a lot. I love them now. They're one of my favorites, but favorite tag team of 2022, I'm going to say best tag team of 2022. FTR. I don't feel like I need to justify it. I don't feel like I need to explain it.
Nope.
FTR.
Agreed.
FTR. Period.
Absolutely.
You can't argue with that because they've won titles in every promotion this year. So
yeah, I know. I was close to putting them up there too. I love them.
I mean, there's no counterpoint. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on. We move on. The best show pay-per-view of this year. I am going, they were up and downs. There was a couple of them. I mean, I really like that last WWE one, the War Games one. That was really cool. That was up there for me. But it's the dog collar match with MJF, the Revolution early in the year, is my favorite.
That's fair. That was a great match. That was fantastic.
That was a good pay-per-view.
And you don't even have to explain it.
Don't have
to. That was a killer show. Tammy?
Well, this is going to be a really short conversation because I picked the exact same one.
It was.
Fair enough. That was a really good show. It was an AEW show. For me, Survivor Series, War Games, best pay-per-view of the year.
It was excellent.
Not only was it a good pay-per-view, it was the best Survivor Series I've seen in I don't even know how many years. It was the best version of War Games matches I'd seen in a long time, despite the facts that I love the blood and guts matches. There's something special about the way AEW does those matches, but War Games on a main roster show at Survivor Series blew me away. The women's match, the men's match, they were both fantastic. I don't know how WWE can justify paying their roster the way that they do, based on that show.
No doubt.
There's no argument.
No, there you go.
What was your least favorite thing in the past year in the wrestling business, Tammy?
The Jade Cargill storyline. And also the drop off in the women's division in AEW in general. Like I like Jade's, I think she's beautiful. I think she's a goddess. When I look at her and her outfits are super cool and I love all the themes. But when it came down to her promos, her storyline being a champion, I thought it was definitely my least favorite thing. And my biggest least favorite was when Rey Fenix hurt his arm.
There you go.
Fair. Rafe?
My least favorite was, it's kind of a tie. It's a tie. It was the CM Punk bullshit and the AEW women's division. I think the minute that Brandy left, trouble started happening. And I hate to say
That's fair.
But
That's
it's I
fair.
feel it. I feel that it's true. When Brandy Rhodes left, I think she was pushing that division a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it got forgotten about.
She really
And
was keeping the rein on things, wasn't she?
she
And put
really
it
was.
this way, next year I'm gonna have a whole lot more WWE stuff to talk about.
There you go.
And
that was it.
GCW and Impact and Enjoy Wrestling and all the other promotions that we're going to be watching because we're real wrestling fans and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Least favorite thing from the past year. I don't know if you guys can see this, if it will focus. All the drama, particularly in AEW.
Yeah.
Bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into specifics. There was the All Out Fallout. There was all the stuff with Sammy, Eddie, blah, blah, blah.
You're right.
The drama's dumb, man. It's a profession. It's a business. Let's be professionals. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, best thing to happen in professional wrestling in 2022. Tammy, thoughts?
So I don't know best. I put favorite moments. So
that's fine.
All of MJF's promos and monologues, along with Jon Moxley's emotional return.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about the whole rehab stint and everything. Jesus Christ. God, it's been a
lot
long
has
year.
happened this year.
It really has. Rafe?
Favorite wrestling happenings? Well, obviously the MJF stuff, but I was very happy with the development of the House of Black. Of course, I'd like to see them be doing more, but the fact that developed over this year and everything kind of fell into place of what I wanted it to fall into, I think is perfect.
I agree. Those are both great points, guys. My absolute favorite thing, and the thing that really got my rocks off in 2022 in professional wrestling and the business and what's best for the business. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Vince McMahon is gone, baby.
Good point.
Adios, you old crotchety, non-attached bastard. No, nothing, can't write a story, can't develop a character, SOB. So happy we're done with him. It's to me, that's the best thing that's happened in wrestling in 20 years. Forget 2022. 2 decades. That is the best development that has come across anything.
Yep.
Need I say more?
You don't need to say anymore. Nope. That's it.
Drop the mic on it.
Drop the mic on that, baby.
I have an interesting question for you guys.
Sure.
Anything you're specifically looking forward to next year?
Go ahead, Tammy. What are you looking forward to?
All of the Enjoy Wrestling series that comes out. This time I'll be able to follow all year round, as they post on YouTube. And I'm looking forward. I like to learn more about New Japan. And I enjoyed everybody from New Japan I've seen so far. And I want to look more into that and learning more about all of that.
Oh, that's
and doing some wrestling conferences.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I promise. Rafe?
The Enjoy stuff. The last thing they did this weekend was the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
The Royal Rumble is going.
Not the Royal Rumble.
Or the Battle Royale or something like that they did.
Enjoy had a big event last night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't televised. You can't find it anywhere. You got to look on social media to get a hold of it.
I think I need to drive out there and go to one live this year.
It will be on YouTube.
Philly road trip.
It'll be on YouTube in January. I was told by the people from Enjoy when they answered me back on Instagram.
Nice. So I'm looking forward to it because I've seen a bunch of clips and stuff from the show. It was amazing from what I saw. So many awesome matches, so many awesome things, so many great performers, so many great talents. Enjoy. If we had an extra category for my favorite new promotion in 2022, despite the fact that they weren't brand new in 2022, it'd be Enjoy Wrestling.
For sure. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do and all that and getting some crossover going. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And you know, we'll see what happens with all the rest of the promotions. All right. Well, it's been a great year for 2022 for wrestling. More and more exciting, more and more things I'm into. And I'm looking forward to next year. We are going to be doing a holiday break. So our next episode will be we're going to record it probably on the 15th. And then of January. And then we're going to review everything that goes down between then. And then after that,
we're going to take a few weeks off.
We're going to take a few weeks off. Then we're going to do
a lot of shit going down between now and then, but that's okay.
I'm going to make Tammy watch the Royal Rumble. And
nobody can make me do anything. We all know this.
We'll do our next show.
Maybe consider it from my own free will.
Tammy wants to watch you want to watch the Royal Rumble.
Right.
You've never watched one. You're going to love it.
You're going to love it.
I feel like I'm getting subliminally brainwashed to watch it. So I'm definitely going to.
I will continue to subliminally brainwash you.
I'm going to watch it, okay?
Well, it's part of your job. We're gonna review it, so you have to watch it.
Right.
You have to watch it.
I have to be a professional.
So that's what we got coming around the bend. Anything else? No.
I mean,
what? What was the question? Huh?
Tammy, off to Never Never Land.
Calm down, James. All right.
Yeah.
So there's a shitload of crazy pay-per-views happening next year. We're going to be watching a lot of them. I know you guys aren't super into GCW yet, but I'm definitely going to be watching it. They're coming back to Charlotte. So I will be at that show, and I will be sharing information about that. Yeah, there's literally like millions of things happening in 2023.
Wow.
The Rumble's the first big one. I'm super excited to see what happens at Wrestle Kingdom. Jesus, there really is a lot. I have a lot of stuff written down here about what's going on the next couple of months, and it's crazy. And there's like 20 shows between now and the next time we all get together. So,
is there anywhere you can post this list?
Potentially. I will say this though. Forget all the mainstream companies. Everyone out there who's listening, watching, whatever, go support your local wrestling scene.
Yeah.
Go to the indie shows near you. Go to the dive bars. Go to the shows that happen at brunches and weird outdoor shows. You never know where you're going to see the next superstar. You never know where you're going to find the next golden match. You never know when you might see a huge name pop up at a show down the road. I highly recommend and I highly support independent wrestling. Those people do it for the love and the passion. They don't do it for the money. So go find your indie scene, make it happen.
Exactly. All right, everybody. We have been
gonna make it happen.
It's been a fantastic.
We gotta say thank you to the folks, Rafe.
Thank you to everybody that's listened. I'm going to give a shout out to Jordan. Thanks to him and everybody else that supported us
over on Twitter,
and all the people that enjoy wrestling and who went back and forth with us and had some fun with us as well. That's been awesome. We're definitely going to bring you some more Enjoy stuff, 100%.
Yep.
And we're just happy that we're doing it. We're happy we're get together, and 2023 is going to be a whole lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it. I want everybody.
And thank you to everybody that has engaged with us on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that has engaged with us on Twitter. Thank you to everybody who's been listening to us on the podcast services, whether it be Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you're listening to us at. We appreciate your support. We love you guys.
And the TikTok.
We actually also, we should thank the opportunities we've gotten with talent. We've had the opportunity to speak with a number of talents this year. I know you guys went to a couple of conventions. You did some interviews with folks. We talked to a few people on the indie scene. We did some interviews. We've had a really good time with people who may not be exposed to the broad, wide world of professional wrestling. Go back and check out our videos, watch our old stuff. More importantly, we're currently ramping up our social media presence. We're doing we're trying to get with you young folks and be more current. We recently fired up our TikTok. We recently fired up our Instagram. If you're listening or watching, we would appreciate it if you would go over there. All you have to do is look right down here in this corner. My arm doesn't do that. There we go. This corner right there. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can also find us on all these different podcast sites. The main ones are SoundCloud, Podbean, Spotify. Please go check us out. Give us a follow. Stay up to date on everything we're saying. We will see you guys in 2023. But thank you so much for everything in 2022. We've had a great time. I hope you guys have had a good time too.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Enjoy it. Have a great new year.
And the merry bells are ringing. Happy holidays.
To you.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.